go ahead and settle into your posture on your back. Start to focus on your breathing. So this class is about kind of managing our reactivity. And I'm going to read to you a little bit from one of my favorite books for about emotions. And this is about anger, which I kind of think of like dragons, you know, when energy is very hot and heated and we get kind of a hot head, we get those heated emotions. That's one of our ways of reactivity. So as you take a couple moments to breathe, I'll just read a little bit of this to you. So anger, he writes, is a great energy, fantastic. If enough people on the planet get mad about something, it often changes. The energy of rage can be enormously positive, except, of course, when it is coupled with judgment and perverts itself into acts of terror and war. Instead of tamping anger down, we can let it flow. Let it run through your being like a bolt of electricity from head to toe. As the energy rises, allow it to move through you. It's the repression and suppression of it that leads to a distorted, destructive place. To my mind's eye, anger looks and feels almost like a volcano. When it erupts inside of us and we remain neutral, we are able to feel it in a fluid way and nothing gets stuck. We learn to recognize our anger consciously as it begins to rise. We allow it to unfurl. And if we're fully open to it, we can allow it to flow through us. Our natural tendency is for anger to get stuck in the throat, in the gut, and in the jaw. For some of us, the idea of releasing anger can be scary because we're afraid of its effect. So we'll talk more about that as we go through our practice, how we can not be so reactive and instead kind of work with these challenging emotions in a positive way. Go ahead and take another breath or two there. And then on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and draw the knees up, stretch the legs out, and take a full body stretch. And if you have blocks, just set those off to the side. If it's okay for you to go without a pillow under your head, that would be ideal. So we can do these somatic movements. All right, so being flat on your back, let your arms come down at your side. We're just gonna do some work here to open up the hip flexors. So we're gonna do a lot of hips and lunging work today. So I'm gonna ask you to slide your left leg out to the side like you're coming into tree pose on your back, and let your right leg stay straight. That's it. And then on your next inhalation, reach your right arm overhead and let your left arm be at your side. So we've done these before, kind of like the somatic tree pose. On your inhale, we're gonna reach through the right leg, right arm, get long. Let your head roll to your left shoulder and let your left hand slide toward your knee so you're in a side bend. But keep reaching through your right leg, your right arm, get long. And then as you exhale, slowly soften back to your starting point. And let's do that a few more rounds. Inhale, lengthen all the way through that right side. Side bend towards your left and reach your left arm towards your left knee. And then release. And we're going to do that one more time. On the inhale, stretch. And as you exhale, slowly relax it back to the start. All right, from here, bring your left foot flat. So you're gonna bring your knee now into your chest. Okay, so bring that left knee in, take an inhale. And as you exhale, lift your head, chest, and shoulders and come into a little bit of core work here. So try to lift your head, chest, and shoulders. Press your lower back into the floor and see if that helps you lift a little taller. and reach through your right leg. Lift your elbows out toward the sides. One more breath. And as you exhale, slowly release your head down, chest down. And then we're going to take half happy baby on your left side. So you're either going to hold on to your ankle or your foot or behind your leg, and we'll get a little more hip opening there on that left side. Now, right arm's going to reach overhead again into that full body stretch. Good. Now, just like we did with the tree, inhale, reach through that right arm, right leg, let your head roll to the left and lengthen the right side body. And go ahead, do that 2 more rounds. Inhale, reach, lengthen. Exhale, relax. And one more time. This time, hold it. Hold the lengthening and see if you can lift your right leg and right arm off the ground about an inch or so, and really hover it and reach it as you look over your left shoulder. So I want you to get as long as you can through that right side. All right, and then slowly release. Bring your left knee back into your chest. Take an inhale, exhale, lift your head, chest, and shoulders back into that core work. Press your lower back into the ground. If you want to go further, hover your right leg off the ground. Maybe reach your arms, letting go of your shin, and reach your arms toward your feet. Press your low back into the ground. And now switch your legs. Bring your right knee into your chest and let your head and chest come back down to the ground. Good. Set your right foot down and open that leg out to the side like tree pose. And we're going to now move to side 2. Left side body, full body stretch. So reach through the left arm, left leg, and reach your right hand towards your right knee. Let your head roll over your right shoulder. So inhale, lengthen the left side. Exhale, soften. Do that 2 more rounds. On your own, 1 more time. All right. Set your right foot flat. Bring your arms down at your side. And bring that right knee into your chest. Take an inhale, exhale, lift your head, chest, and shoulders. For now, keep that left leg down. Press the lower back into the ground and see if you can lift a little higher. Lift your elbows. And then slowly lower, coming into half happy baby on your right side. So go ahead and grab that foot. Now left leg, you're going to try and keep it straight if you can. If you need to have it a little bent, that's okay. Inhale, full body stretch on that left side. Reach through the arm and leg, head rolls to the right. And then as you exhale, soften. And do 2 more times. Reach long through the left side. On this last one, we're going to hold it and then hover it. Hover the leg and the arm off the ground and reach as long as you can. And then slowly release. Bring that right knee into the chest. Take an inhale, exhale, lift your head, chest, and shoulders, coming into that core. And then maybe hover the leg this time. Press your lower back, lift a little higher, maybe reach through your arms. Totally optional. And then switch your legs. And then release both knees into the chest and rock a little bit across your lower back. Okay, reach inside your legs, coming into an air-bound angle. So lower back is grounded, knees are apart, and you reach through, holding your ankles or your shins. Let your shoulders relax and lengthen through the crown of your head. Take another breath here. And then take it into a full happy baby. So either holding ankles, thighs, or feet, both feet up toward the ceiling. Let the knees draw down toward the ground and press your lower back toward the ground. Hold it here, one more breath. And then release, and we're gonna hug those knees back into the chest. And we're gonna roll to our side and come on up into a seated posture. There, okay. So finding a cushion if you need one to sit on. And we're gonna sit up nice and tall. We're gonna do breath of fire today since we're doing dragon work. Get that energy out. So for breath of fire, it's going to be kind of a rapid exhale. So we contract the abdominals as we breathe out through our nose. Kind of think of like the releasing the smoke and the fire through our nose. And the inhale is going to be kind of passive. So I think everyone's done this with me before, but I'm going to review it just so you guys have got it. So start with your hands on your lower abdomen. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, kind of puff it out through your nose. And as you do that, your belly kind of snaps. And that's the beginning stages of our breath of fire. So then we start to get that going more rhythmically. So let's try about 10 rounds. Now start on an inhale and then exhale, snap the belly. So you're contracting and that forces the air out. Then we'll do 10 rounds and pause. Okay, here we go. Begin on an inhale and exhale. All right, that's 10. Inhale, hold the breath for a moment, and then exhale out through your nose. We're going to do 2 more cycles, 10 rounds of breath of fire. And if you want, you can let your hands rest down on your thighs now. So inhale and begin. After your 10th inhale, hold it, pause, and then exhale out through your nose. Good. We're going to do 1 more round. And if you get too lightheaded, take a break. It gets a lot of oxygen moving. So let's try 1 more round if you would like. Inhale deeply. And begin. And then inhale, hold it. And exhale all the way out. Good. Okay, bring your feet into bound angle. And I'm actually going to come off my pillow for this. It's up to you if you want to stay on it, because we're going to circle around. So we're going to circle our torso to get a little bit more into the kind of hip and groin area. And then go ahead, reverse it, go the other way. Bring your hands behind you, feet flat, cross the right ankle over left knee. And then we're going to reach around, see if you can hold the shin and the foot and lift that shin off of your thigh and just do a little rock side to side. Keep a little flex in that right foot so you're not over bending your ankle. Again, I'm just trying to open the hips in our warm-ups, and we're going to get some fire breathing dragons going. So in the yin tradition, so there's yin and yang. The yin tradition, the lunges are called dragons. So that's the name of the postures. We're going to do different variations of dragons. And then we're going to release that foot and we'll go to the other side, cross ankle to knee, and then hold around as best you can, lift that foot up and rock it side to side. Try to keep your chest lifted if you can, so you're not rounding your back so much. That's it, you got it. Let's rock it a little bit longer. All right, and let's release that and we'll come into all fours for our tabletop. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's do our cat-cows. So inhale and then exhale, round your spine. Now we'll go through a few more cycles. So it's about 4 or 5 cycles. And after you finish, let's say 4 cycles after this, let's come into child's pose. Getting a nice full range of motion through the spine, press through your palms. Work on engaging your abdominals as you exhale. And after that 4th round, go ahead and send your hips back, come into your child's pose. Let me just take a moment there when you're ready. No hurry. Let me take these little pauses in our practice that can help bring energy down. When we keep moving, we start to build heat. So at any time you feel too fiery, feel free to come back to your child's pose. So from here, we're going to slide forward onto our belly. And hold opposite elbows with your hands. And put that elbows right under your shoulders. And then we're going to tuck the toes under and do our little kind of cobra variation. Push the arms down, pull the arms towards your belly, pull your belly forward, and then press your tailbone down toward the ground to help you lift your chest up, lift your kneecaps, push back into your heels. And then once you're there and you get a nice stretch through your hip flexors and your belly, take a little sway side to side, like a cobra. And as you do so, think about pulling your rib cage away from your pelvis. So trying to create length in the hip. All right, slowly relax, come all the way down. And slide your right knee out to the side. So right knee is going to be about in line with your right hip. And then we're going to come up again onto our forearms. Pause here. You can either press your palms into the floor or bring your palms together to touch. And tuck your left toes under, lift the left kneecap and reach your chest forward. Gently press your right leg toward the ground. One more breath. And then go ahead, release down, slide your hands by your chest, actually by your upper chest area, shoulders back, and then lift up like you're doing Cobra, where we're gonna look over toward the right knee. So push through your hands, push back into your left heel, so that toes are still tucked on that left side. That's it. And then lower down, and we're gonna do 2 more twists like that. Inhale, lift up, twist, push back into your left heel and release. One more time. Good, and let it all go. Slide your leg back, pause. Left knee out to the side and prop yourself up for a few breaths. So either like Sphinx or you can bring your palms together. Let's tuck the right toes under, lift that kneecap. Pull your chest forward and then gently press your left inner leg into the ground. Hold it there, one more breath. And then release, slide your hands back by your chest, shoulders back. Inhale, lift up and look over towards your left. Right toes can stay tucked. And then release, and we've got 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up, twist. exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift up and twist, and then release. And slide that leg back out. All right, from here, slide your hands back, come into tabletop, all fours. And then we're gonna tuck our toes under like we were doing for our Cobra and move into a child's pose with the toes tucked, if it's okay for you. And then hold the edges of your mat with your hands and pull forward with your hands, let your head come toward the floor. If the head doesn't touch the floor, you could maybe grab a block, or you could just let it be there for a moment. Pull with your hands, send your sit bones back. And then release. And we're coming back up. And if you have a blanket, we'll take that out of the way now. Now, do keep a blanket nearby if you want that under your knee for lunges, because we're going to be doing a bunch of different variations. And you might want some padding for the knees. Okay, so let's come into downward facing dog. Lift your hips up, and once you're in your dog, let's just come into a quick plank just to measure, because sometimes our dog ends up too short. So shoulders over the wrists, heels over the feet, and then we're gonna move back, and that should be a good measurement for your dog. And just pedal out, bend one knee, then the other. And then both knees a little bent, walk your hands back until they meet your feet, and then fold forward over your legs. Have a little bend in those knees. And then inhale, let's reach the arms all the way out and up. And exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Okay. Couple of half sun salutations, and then we're gonna get moving. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale to the halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach those arms all the way out. Now try to lift the rib cage, reach, and then arms down at your side. Let's do one more round like this. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, release arms down. Good. Step your feet apart a little bit. And then have your hands on your hips with a little bend in your knees. And we're going to draw circles with the hips. Building some fluidity in there. And then go the other direction with the hips. That's it. Okay, come back to start. Have your blocks at the top of your mat. Have your blanket nearby if you might need some padding. And we'll stand right behind the blocks. All right, inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, fold forward, hands to blocks. And then we're gonna step the right foot to the back of the mat and move your blocks back in line with your front foot, just like we normally do. Okay, so pause here a moment. Front knee over the ankle, chest reaching forward, and hug your outer hips in towards center. Now this is going to be a slow motion. We're going to start to drop the back knee to the ground, but we're going to really slow. And we're not going to drop it all the way. So go 2/3 of the way and pause. Now see if you can hold that for a bit. And it might get a little fiery. That's why these are called dragon poses. They might build a little heat. We're releasing energy that we might have kind of stuck in our hips. So breathing here, one more. Let that knee drop a little bit closer to the ground. And now let's let it come all the way down. That's it. Bring the blocks inside the front foot. So move your, now we're getting more, this is, normally we call it lizard, but in the yin yoga, we call it dragon. You can stay up or you can lower your blocks down any amount. So they might go flat. You might bring hands to the floor. You might drop down onto your forearms, just depending on where you are in your body with this pose. And then we're going to try and reach the chest forward. And you might feel some big opening into that left inner groin, inner thigh area. Keep the big toe mound down on that left side. If you want more fire, more dragon, you're going to tuck your toes and lift the back knee off the ground. But if this is fiery enough, stay with that knee down. We're going to take a few more breaths. And when we hold postures like this, this can help us train our reactivity, right? So it's challenging to stay in a pose like this. So we've got to use our breath. We have to stay present. And we have to avoid maybe throwing our blocks at the screen at our yoga teacher because we're getting too fiery here. So if you need to, you can always come out. Last breath. All right, now slowly, when you come out of it, go slowly, bring yourself back up onto your blocks. And then we're gonna start to walk that foot back to center. Set your blocks to the side and see if you can make your way back to tabletop. So step that foot back, take your hands a little forward, and we're coming into downward facing dog. Have a little bend in your knees. And now we're going to do 3 rounds of lion's breath. And this is a really good one to get your aggressions out. So you're at home, no one can hear you, so let it be nice and loud. We're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to stick your tongue out and make a lion's roar. So here we go. Inhale, tongue out, let it go. Just kind of let that energy out, let it move. 2 more rounds, inhale. Stick your tongue out, open your eyes. 1 more time. Maybe shake your head out. And then we're going to walk our feet to meet our hands. Fold forward, top of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And exhale, release. So that lion's breath is really good. So I read in that initial passage that our emotions can get stuck, and in our throat is one of those areas. So we're getting that energy out when we do our lion's breath. And it's like a real yoga thing. I didn't make that one up. Some of the things I do make up, but that's a real yoga technique. All right, so other side, have those blocks under your hands again. And we're going to do the other side. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands down. This time, step your left foot to the back of your mat and move your blocks back in line with your foot. Pause here with the knee up. Front knee over the ankle, hug the outer hips in, and reach your chest forward. Now here we go with that very slow motion. Drop that back knee a little at a time until it gets close to the ground. You can pause at any point. And then once you pause, let that knee get heavier and heavier. And feel that lengthening of the back hip flexor. Breathing here, maybe drop that knee a little more as the chest starts to lift. And then finally, let that knee come all the way down, patting it if you need to. Blocks come inside the front foot. So that last one's called heavy dragon as the knee gets heavy. And this one's called low flying dragon. So now we start to lower the blocks. You maybe bring hands to the floor. Maybe you come down onto your forearms. All depends on what feels okay here in your hips and your back. If your back has to round a lot, better to stay up a little higher. Try to reach your chest forward, and then we breathe here. Send the breath down into the lower belly and the lower back. And train your dragon, train that inner reactivity, that explosiveness. When we stay in a pose, it just helps us to build our resiliency and to be able to be in the moment and catch ourselves before we kind of unleash that anger in someone else's direction. Let's hold here another breath or two. All right, and then slowly come up onto your blocks, walk your foot back into center. And then we're gonna step back into tabletop pose. All fours. Take your hands slightly forward. We're coming up to dog for 3 more rounds of our lion's breath. So let's get ready to get those frustrations and aggressions out. Have a little bend in your knees, firm your arms. Inhale, exhale, stick the tongue out. Shake your head maybe. Do it 2 more rounds. I wish I could hear you guys. 1 more time. All right, go ahead and walk your hands to meet, or your feet to meet your hands, top of the mat, and fold forward. Inhale, reach those arms all the way out and up. And exhale, relax, arms down at your side. Good, so taking a pause here now, standing. We're gonna do some standing dragon poses. Works on kind of the hips and the IT band area. We're gonna take our arms, actually let's start with hands on hips, make it a little easier, and then we'll see if we can bring arms out. So step your right foot behind your left foot, like on an angle, and then see if we can bend the knees down. And then push into the front foot and come back to start. Good, let's try it on the other side. Step that foot behind and then bend the knees. If it bothers your knees, don't bend the knees. You can just step. Now push into the front foot, especially the heel, and come back to center. Good. Now, if that went pretty easy, let's try it with flying the arms out to the side. If you struggle with balance, keep hands on hips. Good. Step the foot behind. Bend the knees, crouch down like a flying dragon. Press into that front foot, come back to center. And over to the other side. Step back, bend the knees, hover, push into that foot, come back to center. Good, take a pause. We'll do it 1 more time on each side. Have a breath. And then we're gonna do some more lunge work. I'm going to give you a little break from that. 1 more time, if you want, fly those arms out and then step. Bend down. So you get that strengthening along that outer stripe of the leg and back to center and to the other side. Bend down as low as you like and push back. Good. Inhale, reach those arms up and exhale, arms at your side. Okay, another round of lunges. So back to your blocks. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, hands to blocks. Inhale, lift your chest. Step your right foot back. Move your blocks back and drop onto that back knee. Good, pat it if you need to, and then we walk the blocks inside the front foot. All right, coming into low flying first. So either lowering your blocks or bringing hands to floor. You don't have to go all the way to forearms unless you want to. And then we're gonna take winged dragon. So winged dragon, I'm gonna step on my hands for a moment. Front foot, we're gonna roll to the outer edge of that foot. So we're gonna roll onto the pinky side. I'm gonna show it on my other side so you can see better. I'm just gonna let this knee drop open. Now, if it bothers your knee, skip the winged, keep your foot down. If it's okay, drop it open. And some things that can help here, I'm gonna go back to my first side. Things that can help is to gently press the pinky edge of the foot into the ground. And maybe walk the knee back a little bit, and that'll take a little pressure out of the knee for some of us. So sometimes that helps. Then you can stay up on your arms. You can lower to your forearms and breathe here. If you want more fire, you're going to lift the back knee. And make sure you're firming your outer hip on that right side if you lift your knee up. Let's hold it here. Another breath. And then slowly making sure we're walking the arms back up. And we're going to take a twist now. So I'm going to bring my right hand to the floor. If you want, you can keep it on your block. And you're going to turn towards your left side. Now, if you want, put the foot flat. If you like, keep it in your wing dragon. Keep that knee out to the side. Either way. Just going to turn a little bit so you guys can see. All right, one more breath here. Turn toward that front leg. And then we're going to slowly release. Walk that foot back to center. Step back to tabletop pose. And downward facing dog. We're not doing the lion's breath this time. Just maybe shake out your head, pedal it out. And then walk your feet forward, top of the mat. Fold over your legs. And then inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And we'll do side two, arms down, take a breath. Good. Okay, let's do the other side. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold, hands to blocks. And then we're going to step the left foot back, move your blocks back, and drop down onto the back knee. Pad if you need to. Blocks come inside the right foot. And then your version of low flying dragon. So either staying up on your hands, blocks could lower, or you could go to the floor, or you could come onto your forearms. So don't force it. If we force it, that could bring up some more reactivity because we might hurt ourselves. So stay in the safe zone for yourself. And then as you're ready, coming into wing dragon if you like. So we're going to roll onto the pinky edge of the right foot, lift the big toe side off the ground, which opens up the hip a bit more. And then either staying here or adding more fire by tucking the toes and lifting that back knee off the ground. We want to think about stretching the inner legs apart from each other. Chest reaching forward. Let it get a little fiery. Let's hold it another breath. Push down through your arms or your palms. And then if the knee is lifted, let it come down so we can make our way into the twist. So I'm going to come up on my hands if I'm down onto the forearms. And left hand down, right hand onto your thigh and turn open. And you can keep that foot lifted or place it back down on the ground. Totally your choice. And then we hold here another breath. All right, slowly walking that foot back to center. Really take your time coming out of these postures or deep hip openers. Step back, downward facing dog. And then maybe pedal it, move it around, release your head. And this time, let's take child's pose. So knees come down. And we're going to cool the fire a little bit. So let's take about 3-4 more breaths in your child's pose. And surprisingly, we're running out of time already. So we're going to move now to the next part of practice, which is going to be more about cooling and calming. So we worked up some heat with those fiery dragons. Now we're going to cool things down. So go ahead and come into a seated posture when you're ready. And we're going to come back to the soles of the feet together, knees apart for a bound angle again, and just kind of hold on to your shins or your ankles and sit up tall. Good. And then from here, do the circles again. So circular movements are a little bit more cooling. They're a little bit more watery. And then go the other direction. Kind of rolling from one sit bone to the other. Okay. Back to the center. Extend your left leg out straight. Keep your right leg bent. And if this leg is elevated, you can bring a block underneath your knee for support, or a rolled up blanket or pillow, whatever feels good. You could sit on something if you like. And then keep a strap nearby. You might need that later. All right, so first thing, bring your hands inside the legs. So I'm inside my straight leg, inside the bent leg, and we're gonna circle again. So just kind of circle things around, just letting things be nice and cool and softer. Circles can be small or bigger, whatever feels good. And then let's reverse it, go the other direction. And then we're coming back to the center and turn toward the straight leg. Here's where you might want your strap. Take your strap around your foot. If you don't have your strap handy, you can just sit up tall, that's fine. Kind of widen out your sit bones. We're gonna bend that straight knee a little bit so we release the hamstring slightly and lift up through the chest, take your shoulders back. Inhale here, and as you exhale, starting to reach the chest forward, come towards your forward fold. Walk your hands down your strap, or maybe hold your foot now if you can reach your foot. Now, those of you who have the range of motion might straighten the leg a little bit more. If it feels better on your back and your hamstring, keep the bend. And then drop your chin so you feel the back of the neck lengthen. And kind of lift through the back of your skull. Take an inhale. As you exhale, maybe you'll want to fold forward. If that's too much on your hamstring, then stay up a little higher. You might lift your elbows out toward the sides, kind of like your dragon wings. And that'll help keep your chest and back a little more spacious, giving you a little more space to fold. And again, we're holding it. Let's take 2 more breaths. Let these forward folds be nice and calming. On your next inhale, we're going to come up just part way, draw your belly in, and then use your hands, walk your hands back, and slowly press up. And we're going to turn toward the bent leg side for a little twist. Hold there, another breath. And then on your next inhalation, let's come back through the center, and then we'll switch sides. The right leg out, left leg bends. Support that knee if needed, widen your sit bones, and then hands come inside the leg. And we'll circle around. And those circles might need to be really small today, just depending on your body. Just stay with it. And then reverse your circle, go the other way. And back through the center, we're going to turn toward the straight leg, grab your strap, just initially to get your posture nice and tall. We're going to bend that knee a little bit to relax the hamstring. Lift through your chest, extend through the crown of your head. Good, and then from here, we're going to start to hinge from the hip crease, reach your chest forward, walk your hands down your strap, maybe hold your foot. Pausing there, inhale, let your chest lift, And as you exhale, you might start to work the leg a little straighter. You might start to reach forward. Let's lower that chin and reach through the crown of the head. And then maybe bend your elbows slowly out toward the sides and allow yourself to come forward a little bit more. And then hold it here for a few breaths. Try not to have any kink in your neck. So it's more either neutral or you can let your head drop a little bit. You might be feeling some stretch along the back of your leg, maybe in your back. Just be aware of what you're feeling. So that's an important part of noticing our reactivity, is being aware. A lot of times our anger can catch us off guard because we're not grounded, we're not aware, and then we just lose it. All right, slowly come up about partway, belly in, and then use your hands to walk yourself back up, and we'll turn toward the bent leg side for a little twist. Chest lifting, crown of the head lifting. And then inhale, coming back through the center, and we're going to take both legs out to the sides. Widen your sit bones. You can always sit up on a prop if you like. You can always have your knees a little bent if you like. You could even stick your blocks under your knees if you know hamstrings are a factor for you here. Okay, and then hands come inside your legs, and we're going to do one more time. Circle it around. And then reverse it, go the other way. Circles as small or as big as you want them to be. All right, back to the center, toes point up, inhale. And as you exhale, you could walk forward if you like to come into another forward fold. As you come into the forward fold, think about sticking your tailbone and your sit bones back behind you, which tips your pelvis. And then you might be able to come a little more forward. Stop at your natural stopping point, don't force it. And then stay with your breathing. Let that breath be cooler now. Holding it, last 2 breaths. And then we're going to slowly walk ourselves back up. Take your time, pause at the top, and then use your hands, draw your knees in, and let's come onto your back. As you get down onto your back, you might want to have a pillow under your head. You can keep something nearby for Savasana. We're going to do just one more thing before Savasana. So after maybe a knee hug, let's put the feet flat and walk them apart about max distance. And just let your arms be relaxed at your side. Okay, so just a couple of windshield wipers side to side. And you can let your head start to rotate opposite of your knees. Just kind of noticing all those areas that we worked in the legs when we did our dragons. So you can let them relax. And now next time you drop your knees to the left, stay there, look to your right and pause. You're on the edges of your feet, your knees are dropping. And now pick your left foot off the ground and just see how that feels. And then you can either place your left foot, the pinky edge, on top of your right thigh, It's going to give you a deeper stretch. If it's too much on your knee, put the foot back down on the ground. So either on top of that right thigh, which is going to help weight it down and stretch that IT band a little more. And then take your arms overhead, full body stretch. Hold your right wrist and give a little lengthening with your left arm. So you're pulling on the right arm. Let your head turn toward your left. And then lift a little bit through your right hip. And that gives you a little extra stretch there. If anything's too much, back out, skip it. And then relax your arms. If your foot is on top, release it down. Both knees back up. And then once again, windshield wiper, side to side. Next time the legs drop to the right, leave them there. Look over your left shoulder. You're on the edges of your feet. And then let's pick up the right foot. And you can either just pick it up and lower it, or take it on top of your left leg. Give you that extra stretch. Sometimes it's helpful to walk the left foot a little bit more to the left. And then arms reach overhead, full body stretch. Hold your left wrist, turn your head to the right. And inhale, lengthen through that left side. And press your hip a little bit forward and up. One more breath. And then when you're ready, relax your arms. Place your foot back down. Both knees vertical. One more time, windshield wiper, and let your head roll opposite of your legs. Coming back through the center, bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. And you can either stay here or take a happy baby again. Maybe comparing how your happy baby felt in the beginning of your practice to the end of your practice. Keep the low back down, lengthen through the crown of the head. Let the shoulders drop. Let's hold it here, another breath. And then release. If you're in happy baby, hug the knees one more time. And then finding your Savasana. You made it. So support the knees if your lower back feels a little strained. Maybe adding a pillow or a blanket underneath your knees. So adding whatever comfort items help you feel relaxed. And just settling in now to your back body, releasing into the ground. And everything soften from head to toe. So I'm just going to read a little bit more from the book about the anger. So throughout your day, maybe you're standing, reading something on your phone, standing in line at Starbucks, and all of a sudden someone cuts in line. Do you say anything? Probably not. But the sleeping dragon deep inside your chest stirs a bit. And then you get into your brand new car, and the car next to you is parked too close, and now there's a scratch on your driver's side door. The dragon lifts its head. Now you're driving and you're late for work, and a person in front of you is driving well below the speed limit. You know you should just be patient. You know that someday too, that could be you. But instead, you're all revved up and the dragon shakes its tail. You've arrived at the office and they started a meeting without you, discussing your proposal. The dragon lets out a puffy breath of fire. You feel it in your body, the heat, the pounding heart, the head rush, blood coloring your face. You're off to the races now. The rest of your day is informed by this anger, unless you discover a different way of processing it and understanding it. I'm hoping your morning hasn't gone in this direction. I hope you're still calmly and quietly contemplating the day ahead. But as you do, I'm going to ask you to focus your day on honesty. The person cutting in line at Starbucks is not making you angry. Neither is the bad Parker or your colleagues. The sleeping dragon is already there. We must acknowledge that our anger is part of us. Our natural tendency is to make it about the person who cut in line or scratched our car. But we need to develop awareness that we are not the victims of what is happening. In fact, we are being presented with a valuable opportunity to use what is happening as a catalyst to free ourselves from our normal state of reactivity. We'll take a couple more moments resting here. All right, taking your time, guys, to start to reawaken, deepening your breath. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe stretching it out. Eventually, you can come over to one side for a pause before coming into a seated posture. And we're going to finish. We have about another minute or two with a cooling breath practice. We started with a fiery breath practice. Sometimes we need to get that energy moving and that wakes us up. But this is a cooling breath practice that's nice if you are feeling those fiery emotions, or even if you're overheated. It's a yogic technique for cooling the flames in the body and in the mind. So it's called Shitali breathing. And we either breathe through a curled tongue or through your pursed lips. So this is a genetic component. Some of us can't curl our tongue. So ideally, if you can stick your tongue out, curl it up, and breathe through your curled tongue, it brings a coolness in. If you can do that, you're going to purse your lips and breathe in through pursed lips. Okay. And then you're going to breathe out through your nose. So sitting up tall, either stick your tongue out or purse your lips and breathe in into your low belly. Pause, hold that breath inside, and then breathe out through your nose. And now keep that going. As you inhale, feel the coolness of the air on your tongue. Pause before you exhale. And when you exhale, imagine releasing excess heat, anger, frustration, all those fiery types of emotions, like a dragon breathing out through its nose. And let's do about 3 more cycles. Breathe into the low belly. After your third round, just go ahead and pause, breathing normally. And imagining a coolness around your brain and your head. Sometimes when those fiery emotions get out of control, we have like a hot head. So imagine a coolness in your brain. And I'll finish with one more passage here. Here's what the divine would like to say to you. I understand your anger. I understand your rage. I understand your resentment and frustration. I understand this volatile and yet beautiful part of you. The part of you you've been taught to condemn, the part you've been taught to repress. This part of you is profoundly human. This part of you has a place. It belongs just as much as every other part of you. Emotions are just energy in motion. Know that your anger is welcome. Be available to it. Stop hurting yourself by suppressing it. You can feel it without exploding, without hurting yourself or anyone else. Unclench your fists, release your jaw, and take 3 more slow, deep breaths. Open up the doors and let the lava gently flow. All right, everyone, let's bring hands together in front of our heart space. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bow your head down to meet your heart. And thank you, everyone. Namaste. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to try and like copy that chapter. It's only like 4 pages and like email it to you guys because there's a lot more good stuff in it. I couldn't read it all, but I think you'll find it really interesting. So I try to get it to you maybe by Monday. So I'll try to do it over the weekend. All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for joining. See you next week outside. Yay. Hopefully we'll have nice weather. If it looks bad, I'll let you guys know the night before. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Namaste. Have a great birthday, Marge.
Thank you, Deanna. I will.
Good. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Patty, did you need something? Okay.